Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Hold on tight because the NFL rumor mill has just dropped a bombshell that could reshape the AFC North's landscape, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are right in the middle of it. Reports are swirling that the Las Vegas Raiders, currently sitting at a rough 210 with a hefty cap hit of around $12 million, are exploring a blockbuster move that might see their star pass rusher, Max Crosby, heading east to the Steel City. Yeah, you heard that right. The Steelers might be on the verge of adding one of the most disruptive edge defenders in the league, and if this deal goes down, it could be a game changer for Pittsburgh's defense, pushing them closer to becoming an impenetrable fortress. The Raiders, who are in full rebuild mode after a disappointing season that's seen them surrender an average of 25.7 points per game, are reportedly willing to part ways with Crosby in exchange for a second-round pick in 2026 and a fourth-rounder in 2027. The move makes sense for Vegas. They're prioritizing a rebuild focused on youth, especially on the offensive line and at quarterback, and shedding Crosby's massive $28 million cap hit frees up vital resources for future investments. It's reminiscent of how teams like the 49ers have recently sold veterans to clear cap space and accelerate their rebuilds. Vegas is clearly looking to reset, and dumping Crosby could be a crucial step in that process. But for the Steelers, this isn't just about acquiring a talented player. It's about adding a foundational piece that could turn their defense into an absolute nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. With a defense allowing over 24 points per game, Pittsburgh has been searching for that edge rusher who can consistently generate pressure, sack quarterbacks, and disrupt offensive rhythm. Max Crosby, who was drafted in 2019 and has since established himself as one of the league's premier pass rushers, fits that mold perfectly. Over his career, he's amassed over 300 tackles and 60 sacks. His PFF grade of 89.7 reflects his elite production, and he's a three-time Pro Bowler, an indication of how disruptive he's been on the field. In 2025, Crosby's numbers are impressive, even amidst some injury setbacks. He's played 12 games, recording 37 solo tackles, 22 assists, and a total of 8 sacks. His ability to pressure the quarterback is outstanding, with an 18% pressure rate and a pressure efficiency metric, EPA per sack of -0.28. In Week 4 alone, Crosby racked up 2 sacks and 10 tackles, proving that he's still at the top of his game. Minimal injuries, like the minor knee issue in Week 2, haven't slowed him down too much. If you look at the recent trend, a guy like Crosby can be a difference maker, similar to how DK Metcalf's trade to Seattle in 2020 led to a surge of over 150 pressures in 2025. Crosby is that kind of engine that can rev up a defense and keep opposing offenses guessing. Why would the Raiders make such a move? Well, they're giving up 25.7 points per game, and their roster is in a culling phase. They're shedding big contracts like Crosby's, which carries a $28 million hit in 2025, to focus on rebuilding from the ground up. Their priority now is to bolster the quarterback position and protect their offensive line, all while trying to develop a team that can compete again down the line. The decision to trade Crosby is a strategic one, driven by a team that's clearly looking to reset its cap and roster, perhaps following the same blueprint as teams like the San Francisco 49ers, who have sold vets for cap relief and built a competitive team through smart drafts and strategic trades. Now, for the Steelers, the impact of landing someone like Crosby could be enormous. His addition alone could increase their pressure rate by over 20%, boost their sack total by roughly 10 sacks, and cut the opposing team's points per game by around 18%. Imagine a Steelers defense with Highsmith and Crosby terrorizing offenses. Opposing quarterbacks will have nightmares trying to find time and space. Crosby's presence would elevate the entire front seven, transforming it into a relentless, high-pressure unit that opponents will struggle to contain. Historically, the Steelers' defense has always been their backbone, and adding Crosby could return that identity to its former glory. Looking at the stats, Crosby versus Highsmith would be a matchup to watch. Together, they could rack up an additional 4 sacks and 25 pressures, creating a dual threat that would make offensive lines tremble. The Raiders, after drafting Crosby in 2019, have seen him rack up over 120 tackles since then, and his ability to make plays behind the line of scrimmage is second to none. His presence in Pittsburgh could be the missing piece that elevates the defense to elite status, something the team has been striving for all season. In terms of the bigger picture, the Steelers are sitting at 6-6, still very much in the playoff hunt. Their resilience in close games has been impressive, with a 15% higher chance of winning those tight contests. Strengthening their defense with a player like Crosby would not only improve their chances in the remaining games, but could also be a catalyst for a deep playoff run. The team's cap situation is manageable, thanks to some strategic cuts and restructuring, which means they can afford to bring Crosby aboard without risking future flexibility. Now, let's talk about the Super Bowl odds. Currently, Pittsburgh's chances are around +8-0, but if they land Crosby and bolster their defense, those odds could shrink dramatically, perhaps to +3, 500, or even better. The addition of a player of Crosby's caliber in the playoffs could be the X factor that pushes Pittsburgh over the top, especially considering how pressure stats have historically correlated with playoff success. His ability to generate pressure, combined with the Steelers' disciplined defensive scheme, could lead to more turnovers, more sacks, and ultimately more wins when it counts the most. Looking ahead, this potential trade could be the beginning of a new era for the Steelers' defense, one built on relentless pass rushers, aggressive line play, and a mentality that refuses to back down. With Crosby leading the charge, Pittsburgh's defense could become a nightmare for any offense they face, setting the stage for a deep playoff run and maybe, just maybe, another Super Bowl appearance. The Steelers have always been about building through the draft and strategic moves, and bringing Crosby into the fold would be a testament to that philosophy, adding a proven game changer to a defense that's already showing signs of improvement. Of course, the Raiders' rebuild is just beginning, and their seeding of Crosby signals a willingness to sacrifice a key piece for future gains. But for Steelers fans, this is exactly the kind of move that could redefine the entire season. It's a high-risk, high-reward scenario, but the potential upside, turning a good defense into a great one, is worth the gamble. Imagine a Steelers defense that can dominate in the trenches, pressure the quarterback relentlessly, and turn games around with game-changing plays. That's the kind of vision we're talking about, and Crosby could be the centerpiece of it all. As we anticipate whether this trade will actually happen, one thing is for sure. The Steelers' front office is always looking for ways to get better, and adding Max Crosby would be a bold statement of intent. It signals that Pittsburgh is serious about contending again, about returning to their defensive roots, and about making a serious push for another Super Bowl. So, Steelers fans, keep your fingers crossed, because if this move comes to fruition, it could be one of the most exciting and transformative moments of the season. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news.